And just relying on their goodwill and the UCSF name doesn't always do it. So is there any problem with saying you have a whatever chance of a lottery for whatever? Updates in free ticket to the Updates in Neurology course at Lake Tahoe next fall? I don't know. Lisa, what do you want to start, and then we'll sort of kick it around some more?
First, these are really good questions, and the CHR gets calls like this all the time. And one of the things I want to take a step back and say that California does not allow finder's fees. So we're not allowed to basically pay people. I mean, I actually can't cite the actual law, but that is illegal. So we know that that's not an option. And from the CHR perspective, the CHR doesn't have a good answer to this because everybody's study is different, everybody's collaborations are different, the relationships are different with different outside providers. But what are we looking for the investigator to think about? We're looking for the investigator to approach this from the angle of what I want to offer. We recognize that potentially you need to do something to get the attention, so to speak. But the question would be is this coercive? Are you incentivizing the individuals in a way that pretty much the motivation is in the wrong place. The motivation is to get the money. The motivation is to have something, get some sort of tangible item rather than actually promoting the research for the right reasons. So in a perfect world, what would the CHR like to see? The CHR would like to see our researchers and our research coordinators develop relationships and develop these types of relationships so that you have the opportunity to do outreach to these groups and have time to go talk to them and let them know about another study that's coming up. So there's kind of a two-way street ongoing so that you can then, at the time of the study, when it does exist, you can almost just go to the individual and say, well, we have this study, and you're not developing that immediate relationship. They don't know who you are. You don't feel like you need to incentivize them. You don't need to get their attention. So you already have their attention by developing the relationship. So that's in a perfect world, and maybe something to say from here henceforward from the organizations that you work with and from the groups that you work with. And there may be are there many groups that you go to usually for that? I mean,
Well, I was just going to say, I sometimes facilitate certain support groups, and that's a great opportunity to speak about trials, because when you think about the clientele coming to a support group, they want options, and when you empower your patients and their families with some options, then it isn't coercive one, and it's also the motive. I don't feel that there is a hidden agenda or motive. It's simply giving options and offerings to empower the patient to make decisions. And just to speak on your behalf as being a patient, I think it's interesting to hear physicians and nurses getting approached by outside companies and groups for research, because as a patient, I hope that my physician keeps those options open to empower me, but I realize I may be different than other patients. So I guess, sometimes I feel if someone maybe does have a personal motive, at least they're giving me more options than just saying, I'm sorry, this is standard of care, that's all you have. So that's something that I think I twist on, is to come from I work with ALS patients, so it's nice to give them more options than us.
Right. I mean, and so when you go to those support groups, you could, in a sense, advertise, if that's the word to say, kind of let them know this is a program. We have a larger program here, and this is what the program does. And that's not something that CHR needs to know about. And so that's one way to go about it. But then back to Bernie's question about what are some others. I mean, I think if we said, for every patient you give me, I'll give you $100, that's not kosher. That's not okay. That's not allowable.